So the Philippines are back-to-back champions in the Peace Cup, and it's now the second trophy the country's won in the last 100 years. So it's a great thing to start with the country, and how the progress has been made. Chris, how does it feel to again be Peace Cup champions?
Yeah, obviously I wasn't part of the last Peace Cup. I was away in the States, so I watched it last year, and it was great that the team managed to win a little bit of silverware. This time around, obviously, I was fortunate enough to be part of it, and it was great to be back in Bacolod playing again in front of the extremely passionate fans that they have down there. Obviously, the first game didn't really go to plan, losing to Chinese Taipei, but we managed to put it together for the second game against Pakistan. So it's great for the morale of the team that we can even in difficult moments that we can pull through, and it's nice to win another trophy. 2 times out of 2, pretty good.
Not a bad record. Iko, tell us about the first game, the game against Taiwan, losing the opening match.
Understand that the team were out of shape that time, but they were really, come the Pakistan game, they improved a lot. They were a better team. They scored an equalizer in the first half, then scored in the second half, and also struck to the third goal.
Yeah, tell us about the goal, Chris. It was the goal to go ahead as well. So it's a winning goal. So it's a game that won the title, effectively. How did it go for you?
It was a little bit.
Slip the money later.
Yeah, it was kind of slow motion a little bit, because I think Patrick had the initial header from James's cross that the keeper saved, and it kind of popped up in the air, and I remember it being in the air for an eternity, and I was thinking, I remember thinking to myself, just make sure we keep it low. Yeah. I said, the worst thing would be to balloon the ball over the bar. That's what I had in my head. So I was fortunate enough to make pretty good contact with it, and as soon as it went in, I don't really remember what happened after that. Just ran off like an idiot. But no, I think it was the culmination of a lot of pressure. We created a number of chances up until that point, so it was building, and I felt it was going to come. And I think our patient approach compared to the first game really paid off. So it's just again right place at the right time for me, and I was just fortunate enough to stick it in really.
Paul, as Care team manager, you've seen a lot of the progress on and off the pitch with Philippine football. How much of a response was it in this second game compared to the first?
In terms of how the team played?
Everything, the character, the response.
I think that's what really showed in the second game as compared to the first game. I think privately amongst our group we were speaking how it seemed more like in the first game they were just going about the motions, and there wasn't enough heart and character, which normally symbolizes this team. That showed a lot more in the second game, and we had to give props to our boy Chris, because we like to rib him every time because his head gets a little big, but you can't deny the fact that he's popped in a lot of clutch goals for the Philippines, and it means a lot. So.
And what's the next step for the Philippines? Obviously, we're looking at the friendlies against India, and before that, the United Arab Emirates. But what do you need to improve on to reach with the Challenge Cup? Obviously, that's the main goal.
Yeah, so that's the ultimate aim, is to win the Challenge Cup next year. So everything's just going to be in preparation for that, really. Hopefully in the games we have in the UAE and the upcoming game in India, we can work on some of our deficiencies that we had in the last game. So last games. Obviously, I think our build-up play could improve. I think that we certainly improved from the Taipei game to the second game. I think that improved, but there's still a lot more room for improvement on that end. Obviously, we conceded 2 goals, which for us is quite significant, because typically we've built our teams around being defensively sound. So we'll probably be looking to improve on the defensive end, and also just improve in front of goal. I think we created a number of chances in both games. Just a case of being a little more clinical in front of goal. So there's lots to improve on, and it's good that we have these 3 games coming up before Christmas to prepare us for next year's Challenge Cup.
It's a good point about the strikers in particular. Obviously missing Phil with his injury. Javier Patinos was injured, I think, in Thailand, although he scored in the recent game.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
He just returned from injury that time.
Yeah. Quick return. So with the lack of a striker. You've got in the first game, the Philippines 16 chances on goal, and Taiwan had just 5, 3 times more. Obviously dominated the game, and there were still a few more chances in the second game without an out-and-out forward as well. How much did the Philippines miss Phil in particular, and how important will he be for the future success, but the striking role in particular, whoever plays striker?
Yeah, they really miss Phil a lot, especially in the first game against Chinese Taipei. I think with Phil up front, they could have pounded the goals. The 16 shots on goal could have been more, but could have been translated into goals for the Philippines.
Yeah.
But looking at the future, we need a striker, probably a striker tandem up front, just to supply the goal. So it's not just the pressure is just not just on one striker, but it's a team effort between the two players to link it up to pound the goals for the Philippines.
Yeah, and the Philippines have done brilliantly now in the FIFA rankings too, #1 in Southeast Asia. Paul, what does that mean for the region? What does that mean for the country in general?
I think that means a lot. It shows that, you know, in the last, since the boom started in 2010, that we've come a long, long way. And, you know, making our mark, it's what's actually really gratifying for me is now when the Philippines comes out, especially when they're playing in Southeast Asia, people approach them differently now. And, you know, it's actually a lot more pressure on the team and a lot more responsibility on the players, but I think it's a good problem for all of us that love football that that's where it's going.
Excellent. So congratulations again to the Azkals, back-to-back Peace Cup champions. Hopefully next year as well, but looking ahead to the Challenge Cup, we've got the preparations with India and United Arab Emirates before that. Watch them live on TV and follow us at FTW Sports for all the updates.